And we are recording. All right. Excellent. Thank you, everybody. We are back once again for yet another session of the Abyssal Playtest in London 1888. I, as always, am your intrepid GM and co-designer, Ash Cheshire. Player sound off in clockwise order? Like
I
clockwork?
can do clockwork. I am Josie playing Xandra Wood, who is a wolfish cop.
I guess I'm next. I am Volcanic Ash. I'm playing Reggie Hardy, who is a changeling.
I'm Brian Williams, and I play Lord Cross, who is a bit dismayed to learn that he may be becoming a vampire.
Thank you all very much. It's true. That is happening. So at the end of last session, we pretty much wrapped as y'all exited the Club Icarus and jumped into your awaiting carriage. Is there anything that any of you want to do during the carriage ride back over to the base of operations?
Shout out Lord Cross.
I'm gonna hand out some of the snacks that I pilfered.
Awesome.
Because I know that bulging? Yeah, because like Xandra had to go and get cornered, so here's some snacks.
And Xandra, what did you say?
Yell at Lord Cross.
What is it you're yelling at him for?
What were you doing pulling us out of there? We still had stuff to look at. Didn't even find Barnabas.
We needed to leave.
I could have gotten new clothes. I could have put on something from the help in the kitchen.
Or just knock somebody out, take their clothes, whatever.
The situation had become unsafe.
Unsafe how?
It was unsafe. That is all you need to know right now. And then he huddles himself up against the door of the carriage, and it certainly doesn't. Yes, huddles himself up against the door of the carriage and looks out the window broodingly.
I'm shouting. Do you know who's in there? And Lord Cross is brooding and turned to Reggie. Do you know who's in there?
Yeah, some hoity-toity guy. He writes plays or some shit. I don't know. We should go check out it. I got some tickets. We should go check out his play. I got some tickets.
The head of the werewolves was in there.
I didn't know that werewolves were fans of the theater.
I wasn't. I didn't know they were fans of fancy clubs with hors d'oeuvres.
Speaking of, you want some more snacks?
Yes.
Excellent. If there's anything else y'all want to do in the carriage, we can do that. Or we can go ahead to the apartments. I don't want to drop into downtime just yet. Mm-hmm.
From time to time, Lord Cross will look at the other two in a strange mix of irritation and also worry, just edging on terror, and then look back away and try his best to focus on anything that isn't the sound of blood rushing through his ears, or maybe somebody else's next. It's hard to say.
Hey, old Crossy boy, I think I got a blood sausage in here. You want it?
I think Xandra's thinking.
At which point, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
At which point, Cross will pound on the top of the carriage. Bam, 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 bam. And the carriage will presumably come to a stop, and Cross will barely open the door fast enough to just vomit like ridiculous amounts out onto the cobbles.
He had a lot of sausages in his country home for that kind of reaction.
I used to love blood sausage.
Oh, buddy.
I'll hold his hair.
I'll hold his cape. While also offering up the same corner of the same cape to wipe his mouth.
I will pull out a handkerchief and thank you. I'm very sorry. Let's get home, shall we?
What's going on? You're the one supposed to be comfortable with those parties, not us.
Speak for yourself.
Well, not me.
I encountered something that I did not agree with. As he holds his stomach in a sad attempt to try and claim or try and make people believe that it may have been something he ate.
Oh yeah, it was like O'Doul's wake. I know that feeling.
What in the world are you vomiting up? Like, is it blood or is it food?
It's just food.
Did you feast on somebody and it's not sitting well?
Feast? What do you mean?
Not today.
The carriage pulls up in front of the Hyde Park apartment, and Granger has heard the carriage pull up, and the door opens.
I'll hop out and help the lady down.
Yeah, he comes and sort of opens the door to the carriage, and then sort of is looking and smelling and kind of any assistance that you all need.
Sausage?
Oh, most generous, Mr. Hardy, sir.
Your lord needs some bed rest and maybe some broth.
Very good, Miss Wood.
Excuse me, as he runs for the door.
Sausage.
Where'd you get all those?
I've got very sneaky hands.
Sausage fingers?
Sausage fingers. Why do all these sausages have holes in the middle of them? I don't know.
Beats me. So the three of you are able to get back to the base of operations. You are secure for the evening back at the base. And if there's any other business that y'all want to have with each other tonight, it sounds kind of like Lord Cross, did you head pretty much directly for your private quarter?
I did head pretty much directly from my rooms. I certainly will not turn anyone away if they call, but yes, Lord Cross is in for the night, as it were.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
How about Reggie and Xandra?
Again, soldiers.
I was thinking of, in my downtime, trying to create a connection further with Mr. Doily.
Totally. Yeah, okay, so it sounds like we are dropping down into downtime now. So it's mailbag time. So, first, since you brought it up, Reggie, I
Mhm.
have some text to read you that appears on the ticket that you received.
Uh-oh.
So, it appears to be uh, some kind of VIP ticket for a revival performance of last year's underrated masterpiece, as it's described. Ruddigore or The Witch's Curse is the name of the operetta at the Savoy Theatre. And this little gilded, very nice printed thing that you've been handed says the Savoy Theatre is delighted to invite you and your companions to come enjoy our hospitality as private guests of our esteemed proprietor. Ample refreshments and entertainments will be provided upon any evening of your choosing. Please present this card at the box office to be accommodated. We anticipate your immense pleasure.
Little do they know that I will have control over the entire crowd. So it better be pleasurable.
Right. Let's see. Cross, how are you spending some of your downtime? Do you go back to your private apartments?
I think that is the first thing I will do is go back to my private apartments and try to deal with the tremendous amount of stress that I have right now.
So when you arrive back at your private apartments, you find a crate, uh, a wooden livestock crate, waiting for you. Upon bringing it inside, there is a note, a very nice note, that reads, "A token of greeting for Hortensia's little lost lamb. We await your letter of introduction patiently for now. Bon appetit, Countess de Karnstein." Inside is a lamb. There is another note. It's unclear when this arrived, but probably today, that just reads, "Expect me tonight at your Hyde Park accommodations. Be sure your two new friends are in attendance. Dorval." And Xandra, as you are enjoying your egg and soldiers, which were prepared and brought to you, you smell a note that slipped under the door.
I don't like
You
the
know
smell of
it's
that.
for you. You know it's for you because it smells like being scruffed somehow.
Oh,
This
Danders.
this note reads, "Heard from Mother that you made quite the scene at the leaders' meeting. How'd you even know about it? Not your concern, Xandrunt." Now the bloodsuckers are on our tail. Accusations, as always. We need an explanation for Mother, and we want to hear it from you first.
Uh-oh.
So, as per usual, downtime we can do a bunch of different things. Reggie, you mentioned possibly building a stronger relationship with Richard Doyleycart.
Doily cart. Okay, so it's a whole. How is it spelled? Is it like a doily
Absolutely.
dash cart?
Yeah. So here,
I
I'll
remember
put it-
it's oily.
Yeah, it's D''Oyly,
Mm,
and that's one word, and then Carte is his second name.
okay. And then he's also got a theater of his own.
The Savoy is his theater. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Doily cart. Savoy Theater. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've already got the tickets from him to go to this production of
Ruddy
what was it?
Gore.
Ruddy Gore.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds interesting. All right, so I've already got the tickets. Maybe I want to see if what if Shyla knows anything about this guy?
Oh, for sure.
So maybe I could pop around to Shyla's and be like, hey, what do you know about Doily Cart and the theater and this other extravagant dude named Oscar?
Let's see. So Shyla is an apothecary, alchemist kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And she
But
has
I
her
reckon
little
she's got like
stall.
a million connections just because of the type of work that she does.
Right. Yeah. Let's. I'm gonna have you do a fortune roll and see how much she knows or is able to pull up. So we'll do. Let's do 2d6.
I got a 2 and a 2.
Okay. Yeah, so you go and she's very excited. I mean, she says the ticket looks fancy and fun. I hope you have a good time. Don't invite me, obviously.
Maybe I could sneak a fourth person in. It says bring all your compatriots, so what if I just show up with like a whole rowdy bunch?
See just how far Richard's hospitality extends. But she just kind of shrugs and she's like, "I've got nothing, love. I'm really sorry. No,
All right.
I don't really rub elbows with the theatrical types. It's more the mystical types that wind up down here."
That makes sense. Maybe I'll go sniff around the theater and see if I can suss out anybody who's interesting
Nice.
and curious. But until then, we can move on to somebody else.
Cross or wood? Anything that either of you would like to do?
I think that opening the crates and making sense of that is probably a good thing to do first, and then hopefully that won't wreck my chance at getting back to Hyde Park before Dorville hurts someone.
So what do you want to do with the crate?
Take it down into the basement
Mm-hmm.
and open it up. What's inside?
There is one baby lamb with a red ribbon tied around its neck in a pretty little bow.
Bastards.
You monsters!
I'm not precisely sure.
How hungry are you?
I have 3 stress and I am quite hungry.
Yeah, you puked up what little food you did have in your stomach.
Indeed, and I believe I am still. I believe I still have the hungry.
Yeah, you've still got a hungry condition on you, I think.
Yeah, so I have a hungry condition and a 3 stress. I'm pretty ravenous.
You can hear the lamb's heartbeat. The thought occurs to you that it's not all that much different than eating a chop or a shepherd's pie. It's really just cutting out the middleman, I suppose.
Indeed,
If you're
indeed.
crafty enough, maybe you can make a tap and just have, lamb blood on tap. Keep the lamb
Not
alive.
crafty. Not remotely crafty. I suppose I should go back upstairs and find a knife. And find a sharp knife in the kitchen and then come back downstairs, never actually having paid much attention to the butchery that did happen at Cross Manor. I'm not quite sure how to approach this. So I'll,
And we can veil as much of this as you want.
sure. I'm not sure how much of this do y'all want to veil?
I love horror genre stuff, so I'm not going to be fazed by any of that. So everybody else can weigh in.
Are we approaching any lines for you, Josie? All right.
Nope.
Well, we can all X card if we hit a point where we want to rewind and or fast forward.
That sounds marvelous. And I, return with a naked blade and the light or the oil lamp. The oil lamp in the that I brought down into the basement is flickering, and I put my hand on the back of the lamb, and it doesn't respond other than to do that sort of little baby animal thing when somebody is petting it.
Not sure if that makes it easier or harder, but yes.
And Cross will shudder and look at the lamb, look at the neck, look at the knife, and then the lamp gutters out.
Nice.
And who knows what happens in the dark?
Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. You heal the amount of stress equal to your defined shreds, because you have just indulged in a minor form of your abyssal nature.
Okay, that's only one stress. Ah!
And you also get one for going into downtime.
Okie dokie. All right, that's better. Am I still hungry?
Let me take a look at that. And while I do, Xandra.
I need to roll, but go ahead. Yes, Sandra.
Do I need to address my letter first, or can I do a downtime?
You can do some downtime stuff if you want, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I mean, you don't have to address that letter at all if you don't want. I'm sure that would be fine.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm going to recover from harm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think mostly I'll have some egg and soldier, some tea, maybe if Mrs. Granger is up and about, chat with her, ask her how her day is and stuff. But if she looks busy, I'm not going to bother her. And mostly calm down. And rest.
She is happy to dote on you. She's very fond of you and loves how much you appreciate her cooking. And she comes in and, oh, now, Miss Wood, is there anything else that I can bring for you?
No. Sit down, have a rest.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Don't you worry about me. I'm just worried about you. You came in, all of you came in, just seeming at absolute wit's end last night. Are you doing all right?
Have you ever been to one of these upper class toffs parties?
Can't say as I have, no.
Any of the Lord's Cross thrown any here? They're dreadful.
Oh. Didn't have much fun then, did you?
No.
I've heard that it's rather stressful. There's so many expectations on all of you. You have to say the right thing, do the right thing, wear the right thing.
That's what they say, but none of it's the right thing.
As you say, ma'am.
You have to dress how they want you to dress and talk how they want you to talk.
She kind of straightens her uniform.
Exactly.
Well, if there's nothing else, ma'am, I'll leave you be to rest then.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Just ring and I'll be here in just a moment. And she nods and takes the tray and gathers up some of the dirty plates and things and leaves you to rest. So Lord Cross, it looks like, yes, you can also recover from harm, which would resolve the hungry attribute.
We know what happened in the dark.
Yeah.
It says I'm supposed to roll to recover harm, but I only need to recover one.
You only need to recover one, and that always happens, so you don't need to roll for that. And neither do you, Cross. Yep, since you both described to us what it is that you're doing to recover that one harm, you're good.
And because I'm just a natural at parties, I actually didn't have any stress to heal.
That's right.
And my stress drops to 0.
Okay. And Cross, you still have a bit of residual stress, is that right? You're muted.
I
Thank
do. I do have 1 stress remaining.
Okay, yeah. All right. So, let's see, Reggie, you were saying that you wanted to maybe try to build a stronger connection with Richard.
Yeah, so I was going to hang around the theater and see if I could like run into him or something, and I didn't really take it any further than that.
Yeah, no, you can totally do that. Oops, hold on. Let's get back over to my...
I think it would also be a good chance to just be like, oh, thank you so much for the tickets. I'm absolutely going to come.
Awesome. Yeah, you can totally go and do that as a downtime action.
Cool. So yeah, I would like to find him, approach him, and be like, thank you so much for the tickets.
Right.
What's the limit of people that I can bring? Because bet you I'm going to break it.
So are you hanging out around the front of the theater? Do you try and find like the stage door entrance? Where are you hanging out?
Probably the stage door, because I kind of know how things work
Right.
in the background of the world. So yeah, I'd hang out near the stage door, see if I could catch him or any of the other actors, and just be like, "Hey, tell me more."
For sure. Yeah, and you can totally catch some of the actors. You get to know a few of the stagehands. They're loading in for this revival. Everyone's talking about how excited they are to be doing this incredibly droll and satirical send up of Victorian horror. They think it's very funny. It's have you heard? It even has a supernatural storyline. Very exciting. How do they think of these things? And as you kind of ask around, someone is able to say like, "Oh, yes, he's here," and they tell him to come out. He comes out and recognizes you. "Oh, hello, my friend from the club the other night."
Hello! Thank you so much for the tickets. And I hope to bring as many as I can to this play of yours. Tell me, what's the limit?
He kind of laughs a little nervously. Says, "Oh, well, it is a somewhat intimate box, but it is it's a custom box that I reserve for personal invited guests. If you would care to bring your two companions from the other night."
Maybe tack on an extra one just because she's my best bud.
Oh, you have a lady friend. Of course, absolutely, you may bring her.
I have a best friend.
We all understand here in the theater, sir.
All right, well, then I will gladly bring along a max of 3 companions.
We very much. When might we expect you?
Oh,
Oh no!
Out of
Sorry.
character.
He immediately realizes that flustered you, and he retracts immediately and says, "Of course, it is good for any of our performances. Please do not feel pressured on my behalf there."
all right, very good. Thank you. I'll let you
look
get back
forward
to
to
your
entertaining
business
you.
here.
I'm
I'll let
sure
you get
that,
back to your business here.
Oh, well, thank you very much. He shakes your hand and kind of claps you on the shoulder, and then sees that no, that set needs to. Oh, please excuse me. I'm so. No, that one needs to go into the other. Yes, I look forward to seeing you. My work is never done. And then he kind of
course.
disappears back into the fluster of the theater. Yeah. So,
Are there any hints that this place should be explored further by me and my crew?
Probably not at the moment. It seems pretty, it's a pretty standard working theater. It is beautiful. You caught a glimpse through the door. This is the first theater in the world to be completely lit by electric light. And so you can see inside the door just brilliant luminescence like you've never seen before. So probably excited to come and see this, but you don't get any
eyes
like,
wide and twinkling.
yeah. But this is really just Reggie is just ooh, snacks and entertainment and fancy. Yes, please.
All right, well, I'll gleefully head back to the apartments and
Cool.
reveal this information to my 2 compadres.
And,
Hopefully Cross is feeling a little bit better.
And you can definitely add Richard Doyley Cart to your connections. He has a positive disposition towards you.
Okay. So is that a 2? A 1?
Yeah, that we'll get. Let's say it's a 1 for right now.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Perfect. All right, skipping on back to the apartment.
Nice.
Got good news, y'all. We're gonna go hang out, be fancy.
And Cross, how's your downtime going?
It may actually not be until morning that Cross emerges from the basement When he does, it looks like he's, not terribly well. Attempted to, actually, even before he shouts up from beneath and he says, "Frobisher, draw me a bath, please."
Very good, sir.
And then after the bath is drawn, he will attempt basically to sort of cover and hide, himself from Frobisher as he makes his way upstairs, and then, from the top of the stairs, he says, "Clean that up, please." And then, moves into the bath and dunks himself under the water. I would like to add another shred of humanity to define, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
I will never feed from a human being.
Oh, Louis.
So, in addition to your core shred of "I will never feed on a human to the point of death,"
I
you
will
are
never take a
adding the
human.
stipulation of "I will never feed from a human whatsoever."
Absolutely not. Never.
Okay.
Can vampires get sustenance from bugs?
There's not a lot of blood in there.
Yeah.
There's
Renfield
very,
was
very little
optimistic,
blood
but
He
in it.
tried, but he
understood
failed.
I don't think he understood the mechanics,
I think that's part of what drove him a little bit batty.
so to speak.
So to speak. There's, yes, very, very, very little blood in a mosquito. Enough to annoy us, but...
Oh, you've heard that song, don't you? There's very little blood in a mosquito.
Have a banana.
That's how it
Very
ends.
popular
You
down
have
at
heard it.
the music halls. So when Lord Cross comes back out from his bath, there are fresh, clean clothes laid out for you. A small silver tray with a little crystal glass of maybe a little mouthful of brandy or claret, something fortifying.
Port.
Port. And everything has been cleaned. You can smell the fresh lavender water that's been used to clean, probably the floor and the basement, and everything is back to normal, sir.
Very well, very well.
And Frobisher is nowhere to be seen. He has discreetly set everything out for you, and then has made himself extremely scarce.
Excellent. I will dress myself and appoint myself appropriately before heading back to Hyde Park.
And Xandra, how are you doing over at Hyde Park?
I'm doing fine. Feeling better. I'm gonna take an advancement.
Yeah, since everybody, if there are any other downtime actions that y'all want to take, we can do those, and then we will advance.
Do we get more than one?
There
we
there
do 'cause
are
of
the
those.
communal ones. Yeah.
Right. The house gives us 2 communal or just 1?
I believe it's 2 additional to be divided between you.
Indeed.
Well, I would like to spend one of those then on buying into a city asset.
Okay.
And oh no, that's an advancement. Sorry. Well, that was what I'm planning for my advancement. Spoiler alert.
All right. And any other bids for that second available Oh, that is a good question. Um, yeah. So Xandra just asked in the group chat, "What is our heat?" So yeah, y'all kicked up some fuss last night at a human club. You also kicked up a fuss during a pretty high level faction Abyssal event. And so you've generated both surface and shadow heat, actually. Um, Specifically with the werewolves and the vampires, actually. Um, but more so with the werewolves. Um, so you have one surface heat and one shadow heat. So as a reminder, the heat tracks. The surface heat is a track of how bizarre and abyssal you've behaved around humans, how much you've freaked humans out. Basically, it's different than just being rowdy or ruffian like. That is already your reputation, but that doesn't itself earn heat. What earned you heat was the melting of the dress, the command power from Lord Cross, which, as much as the command itself forced people to forget, there's still a sense of strangeness or oddness that they have attached to you. And so the more heat there is, the more obviously non-human you all are to humans. Shadow heat, on the other hand, is how much you have threatened Abyssal's safety from humans. And so, because this the outburst and then Cross's intervention drew attention to both of you during a meeting of the pack leaders, that generated shadow heat because the werewolves are now concerned about their safety because of you. And so shadow heat basically represents how much or how little abyssal factions are going to be willing to support you, trust you, uh, allow you to rely on them.
Might I spend a downtime action to ameliorate to try and reduce our shadow heat?
Yes. Let me think about how would you want to go about that, because so the reduction of shadow heat involves I'm looking to see where it is on our city playbook, is I think where we track it. So essentially, actually, it might be over in, let's see, London City Info. No, I'll have to find it for you.
Heat's page 6 of the quick reference book. Take an action to mollify humans or pay tribute to abyssals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking paying tribute in some way. I'm not sure what that action would be, but
Yeah,
that's
and that
what
was
I
the
would
part
like
that
to
I
do.
was looking to find for y'all, because there's somewhere I have a description of each of the factions and what tribute represents, or
Very
what
nice.
what would constitute it, I should say.
Right.
But I mean, it's fairly straightforward, really. Especially so, tribute for vampires is really things of value, things of raising their reputation, um, that kind of thing. Um, with the werewolves, it's going to be more about offering tribute in terms of what was violated, and kind of restoring good relations with them.
Let's see here. That is starting at row 48 on column L of the city book play sheet. Things of value. Oof. I don't know what I can do with that. Gifts that can be flaunted.
Oh yes, here it
See, I
is.
was thinking of paying tribute to the werewolves and
Mm-hmm.
taking over maybe a crate of sausages that you don't care for anymore out of your kitchen.
Yeah, the werewolves accept food, drink, simple but quality goods as their tribute.
Yes, actually, let's clear out the main pantry. And keep the Hyde Park pantry, but clear out the main pantry of anything resembling human food. Um, there's probably a bit of beef hanging in the larder. There's all of it. Get it out of my house.
So, Cross and Wood, are you two collaborating on this?
I think so.
Sure.
I'm happy to collaborate. I'm also happy to spend my downtime action to be the to make it happen.
I mean, it makes sense that the extra downtime actions can be handled by
Mm-hmm.
jointly.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take it to Mother.
Yeah, that would probably be appropriate. For our other two players, who is Mother, Josie? Or Xandra?
Uh, that would be Whitefell, who is the um, mother or sort of godmother to all werewolves in the city.
Yep. Exactly. She is the leader of the werewolf faction in London, and she is seen as the pack mother of all of the packs.
We don't actually have a leader. We're more like an narco syndicate commune, but she's the boss.
Yep.
She's
She's the
she's
one.
the camp
She's at the
mom.
top of that. Yeah, exactly.
She's the one that when she woofs, everybody lines up.
Yeah, it's one big family, but she's the mother. And where do you plan to find her?
I will start around the Icarus Club on a quiet morning and try to find her trail.
All right, and you've got this uh, like crate or packed
It might be a
chest
whole
of food.
wagon, actually.
Oh, Josie's connection is getting a little
Oh. I'm thinking that
little
I may
bit
have
choppy.
filled a wagon with, preserved meats and cheeses,
Mm-hmm.
and it might even be just a little bit overboard. In part because I'm completely emptying the larder.
You know, there's other people that eat around you, right?
Reggie's like,
I don't.
Can I get some of that?
Well, there's the whole pantry at Hyde Park that hasn't been touched.
right. This is just Cross's private stash. So how are you transporting this?
I'm imagining I hired a wagon or a cart to carry whatever however many cases or crates.
And Xandra, you know that uh, the last time you knew where they were staying, you knew that Whitefell and her personal pack because she does have like a pack of her own. That they were staying near the down at the docks,
Hmm.
among the dock workers, which is where a lot of the werewolves have found employment.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that for free.
Good.
Because I don't think we need to do a bunch of rolls or anything to find her. But I wanted to make sure I understood what it is that you're literally rolling up with. So Cross, are you coming along, or Xandra, are you? Is this being loaded up into the cart and then you're going on your own? Who all is going to pay tribute?
I suspect that I can do the loading and the arranging and the hiring of the cart, but when it comes time to actually, I don't know. Should I come along or should I just stay? I'm perfectly okay staying.
Look at that letter I got. Might be best if you stay here.
Very well.
Is that little baby lamb still alive, or is it dead?
What lamb?
Okay, it's gone.
No.
Got it.
I don't know her.
So yeah, you're able to roll up, and actually with the fantastic smells of what you've arrived with, a couple of the pack members are already out on the street and kind of giving you a look and sort of giving you a little like, yep, that's good that you did this. And they kind of gesture towards like a couple of double doors in the side of one of the dock houses that kind of creak inwards as you approach them.
This is a lot for only being them only being slightly irked at us, but I wanted to talk to her anyway.
This is a good way to do it. All right, so as you pull in, you smell all of the familiar pack members. You smell some of the same pack members from the Icarus Club the other night, and you both smell and see Whitefell. She is in her human form, so she is a tall, blonde woman with ice blue eyes and long silver white hair that is plaited and hanging down one side, and she has a large axe that is strapped to her belt.
I bring gifts for Mother.
Xandra, come.
I'll hop down and scuttle over.
She pounces on you and playfully nips your neck a little bit and wrestles you down and makes sure that you are on the ground, and she's got you pinned, and then she nuzzles your face and brings you back up to your feet. You've been busy.
Trying to take care of our territory, make things better, and found some friends.
You know that one of your friends is causing us some problems. Not him personally, but his affiliations.
Reggie's all right. I don't think you can blame his affiliations on him. He barely knows anyone.
But you also know that our safety cannot be a matter of benefit of the doubt.
Well, I think there's a bigger enemy about than
Than the bloodsuckers?
yeah,
And what enemy might that be,
the
little pup?
million or so of them hanging around
Are you referring
every
to
day.
humans?
Yes.
Wow. If we left them to it, the bloodsuckers would take care of them on their own. No, I don't think that's why you were at the club. What is it that you're chasing, little pup? What scent have you caught, and what is it that you're after? Because I'm concerned.
Well, I'm not sure what he is, but I don't think he's entirely human. A lord or someone pretending to be a noble by the name of Barnabas.
Her eyes slightly widen for a moment and then narrow again.
What do you know about him?
That is none of your concern. She gets a little bit snarly for a second. I love you as my own pup, but you must remember your place.
He's been sniffing around my neighborhood and spoiling in my bed.
She doesn't seem to hear your metaphor because she's now, you can tell she's thinking about a lot of different things at once at the moment.
He's messing with the Jack the Ripper investigation. Messing with human memories. Do I need to be worried about him? Is he an agent of yours?
He is no agent of ours.
Someone you have on a leash?
You know how we feel about leashes, Sandra.
Yeah.
It is complicated. She's watching as some of the pack members are unpacking the things that you brought, and they're kind of making excited little noises, and one of them tries to kind of sneak a bit, and she, faster than you're even able to track, she is over and holding their hand. She says, "We do not take until it has been evenly distributed." And he kind of whimpers and, "Yes, of course, Mother." And she loosens her grip and allows them to continue unpacking. And she kind of strolls back over to you at a more normal pace. And when she comes up to you, she says, "As you can see, even those of us that we love and keep close sometimes forget that we must make sure everyone is taken care of."
Unless you're the runt, right?
The runt most of all, Sandra. Why do you think I make sure to catch the hand of those that could push in and take more than their fair share?
If you told that to my brothers and sisters, they don't respect my opinions. We have a real chance to make some difference here, like you're doing at the docks.
They don't respect your opinions.
No. They think
And when
it's
was the last time
foolish.
you shared any of your opinions with them? Your pack is very concerned. They haven't seen you. You have not responded to their calls.
I talked to them this past week, and they mocked me again for joining the police force, for trying to fit in
Yes,
amongst
but
the humans.
in one breath you refer to humans as the enemy, and then in the next you're justifying becoming even closer and more entangled with them. You understand why they're confused.
We have a real chance here to make a difference.
I agree. But we need to move as one. You are not alone. Stop pretending that you are. Now, I have other matters that I need to attend to. If you need anything from me, you know where to find me.
I need to know about this Barnabas. What is he interfering with and why?
I understand.
I can stop him.
That I am unsure of. Not because I do not trust your ability or your insight, but this is larger than you understand. I promise I will share with you as it is appropriate, but you must wait.
This murdering fellow is messing everything up. The humans are already starting to pay
Humans.
attention.
It is not our concern.
It is. The rich are going to start paying attention to the plight of the poor and doing so their own way instead of letting them take care of themselves, letting us teach them how to be equals among equals.
I want to hear more of this from you, but not right now. You may go.
I'll nuzzle into her hand and before turning away.
She gives you a scritch.
And yeah, just looking to kind of see who's there again and kind of take notes, not little mental notes of which packs are close.
Okay.
Or if it's ours.
Your cart has been fully unloaded and turned around, and upon you may go, you hear one of your horses whinny. It sounds like someone has led them even closer to the door.
All right. I will crack on.
All right. So we are at about an hour of gameplay, and I think we're just about done with downtime. Has everyone chosen your advancements? And if not, then we can take a little brief break and then do that when we come back, if you want.
How many people need to buy into a city advance before it actually becomes a thing?
Let me look that up for you.
All right, and
I
we
will
can
have
certainly
that for you in
save
a
that
minute.
for after a break.
Mhm.
But my choice of advance actually depends on that, I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah, because I was thinking about buying into the advance and working basically with the Grangers to make the Hyde Park apartments comfortable for us.
Add some apartments or make some
Yeah.
apartments available. That makes good sense. I'm certainly happy to support that. I mean, I'm also happy to make myself less incapable at lots of things, but the apartments are also a priority.
So it looks like the way that you get a city asset is for each of you to basically buy into that asset once. So each of you would use your advance to add your little tick to that asset, and when we have all three bought into it, then the asset is yours.
Very well. Well, I'm happy to buy into a city asset. Yeah.
So if all three of us agree to buy into apartments, is that the one?
Yes, that would
Okay,
be
yeah,
I think.
I agree to do that as well.
Cool. then I will go ahead and add. Yep, beautiful. So there is now enough room in your base for the members of your crew to live there comfortably together.
Very well.
And it sounds
All
like
right.
that was accomplished by, yeah, just, working with Granger and Mistress Granger to make some space, clear out some private rooms, possibly set up some dividers, who knows.
Clear out private rooms, take a whole
Mm-hmm.
bunch of stuff to, to be, yeah.
Beautiful. All right, let's take a quick break and come back in 5.
Very well. See you all in 5.
All right.
As a kitty. You're currently muted.
Who's a kitty? She's so cute.
Even our neighbor loves this cat, and we ran into her in the parking lot earlier today when we got back from the grocery store, and she was like, "Do you still have your kitty?" And I was like, "Well, one of them passed, but
Yeah.
we replaced her. But yeah, we still got the big fluffy one. She just doesn't sit in the window anymore."
Aw. I was gonna guess, yeah, that maybe it was window sitting.
Yeah. But I also told the neighbor that this cat's been a lot happier since we got the replacement cat, and so yeah, she just hasn't been feeling the need to, I guess, camp out in the window and scope out the neighbors. She's been actually like playing with the kitten.
She has someone inside to hang out with. She doesn't have to glower at the neighbors.
Exactly. Whereas and the old cat really, she hated everything, including the
Met
cat.
cats like that. Yeah. I've met kitties
So-
like that.
Yeah. So when we got Kenzie, this one, Midna, was just so happy. She was like, "Yeah, I get to have a new friend."
So, I looked it up just for clarification. For advancing to buy city assets, you don't all have to agree on the same one. And so on the spreadsheet, I've got a highlight here added in a box that says when someone uses their advance to buy a city asset, increase by 1. When it reaches the number of players, unlock a new asset. So basically, if there's an asset that you are interested in, or there's just no other, advances that you want to do, that's what that one takes care of. So,
Or we could committee it and get it all in one go.
right. So now all of you have had a chance to check that one off of your list. So you'll do all of the other advances before we come back around to doing another city asset. All right, so I believe that concludes downtime. So if there are free play things that you'd like to do, possibly going to the theater might fall under that category. There's also a couple of outstanding notes potentially to be addressed.
Indeed, we should, before we go to the theater, I would like us to stay in at Hyde Park for one night. The next night, if possible.
Any particular reason?
Nice.
Steak dinner?
I am expecting a visitor, and I don't want to meet him alone. Excuse me.
I got your back.
All right.
Me too. I just had to inject a cat.
So, what, if any, preparation do you do, Cross, for Lord Dorval's arrival? Do you anything that you explain to Xandra and Reggie? Any preparations you make at the house? Any special instructions that you give to Granger, Mistress Granger, that sort of thing?
Right.
Yeah, what is the connection to Dorval? I'm curious.
Dorval is connected to my father, and as I understand, connected with other powerful forces in the city. that tend to operate behind the scenes. I would like
street sweepers.
Not like street sweepers. I would like to ask Granger and Mrs. Granger to set up a nice formal welcoming, not an actual meal, but some snacks and some very expensive wines, and I will also ask for a couple of lambs to be kept in the basement.
This is all arranged and taken care of with their usual attention to detail.
And then I suppose that is what I need for preparation.
Okay.
What other questions can I answer for you, my friends?
Is this the first that Xandra and Reggie are hearing of this person?
I think
So?
second only to hearing of the note that arrived from this
Right.
person.
Right. All right.
I'm amused at how Lord Cross is never intending on properly feeding us.
Well, you have run of the kitchen. I mean,
Well, then I'll just sneak off with this block of cheese then.
If you want a steak dinner, it's up to you to arrange, apparently.
I mean that is what living comfortably means.
Fair enough.
That's all he said to prepare. Oh, no. Here, I'll help. Fry up some steaks. Boil some
How
potatoes.
hands-on is Xandra getting with helping? Are these instructions, or are you in the kitchen?
As hands-on as Mistress Granger will let me, I'll be in the kitchen.
Yeah, she lets you come in.
I'm tinkering in the kitchen. I know my way around.
Does Xandra actually know her way around?
Oh, yeah. As the runt, I was made to cook a lot.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. She maybe guides your hand a couple of times or intervenes a little bit here and there, but seems actually kind of surprised at how well you know your way around the kitchen.
It certainly may not be up to Cross's standards. Or hers, but those guiding hands will help.
And Xandra and Reggie, do you do anything else before Dorval arrives? To get yourselves ready, or?
I mean, so far as I know, this is just some dude that's visiting, so
Yeah.
I'm not too anxious or anything.
Sure.
Curious, so I might be staking out the perfect position to watch it all unfold.
Nice. So
Yeah.
about
Get familiar with all the available exits, places to run, just in case he starts trouble and tries to get away from.
I'm trying to
It's
find the
just
perfect
desserts.
place to perch my elbow and look serious.
amazing.
Adding a book. There.
So about an hour after sunset, Granger comes and says to you, Lord Cross, "Sir, I believe a carriage has approached. I will be attending the front door.
Thank you, Mr. Granger.
And he goes
once, once our guest is in and situated, then I'll ask you and Mrs. Granger to go home, please.
Very good, sir. Granger actually seems a little fleetingly, he's very good at his job, but for a moment he seems concerned and confused. And then immediately, all right, yep. So he goes and opens the door. Lord Dorval arrives, a tall, gaunt, pale man with full silver hair, wearing a long black cloak. He steps in. Granger offers to take the cloak, and Dorval sort of gestures him away. At which point, Granger shows him in, brings him into the room where you've prepared the food and wine, and he nods and says, "My master and his guests will be with you shortly." And then he and Mistress Granger absolutely disappear. Yeah, played by Christopher Plummer, totally.
Very well. Shortly after they disappear, I will, wait outside of the, step outside of the receiving room, and call for Reggie, or actually, I will find Reggie and Sandra, and ask them to join me in the drawing room.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, come in.
Pretty much. Jeff's wearing her toughest and most imposing stance.
I'll peek out from behind the curtains. No, I'm just playing. I'll already just be in the room and
Totally.
hanging out, doing
You've
my
got your-
creepy pose.
Yeah, you've got your perfect elbow spot.
Yeah.
So Dorval, when he came in, that's amazing. Cat playing the piano. When Dorval comes in, he basically immediately sees you, Reggie, where you're perched, and he gives you a very polite but perfunctory bow of his head, but he doesn't say anything to you until Cross comes in.
Good evening, Lord Dorville.
Terence, would you care to introduce me to your two friends?
And I come in behind Cross and close the door once he's fully in the room.
Nice.
Allow me to introduce you to Miss Zandra Wood. Zandra Wood, this is Lord Dorville.
Lord Geoffrey Dorval, at your service, Ms. Wood.
All right.
And there in the window is Mr. Reginald Hardy.
How do you do, sir?
Mr. Hardy. Excellent. I don't wish to stand on too much ceremony this evening. I hope you don't mind. He takes a seat and
As you prefer.
and kind of looks at the wine. Terence.
May I?
He nods.
And I will, pour a glass of wine for him.
He kind of just has his hand out.
And hand it to him, and then I will pour wine also for Reggie and Zandra.
Excellent. I won't mince words with the three of you, nor stand further on ceremony. I have heard of your visit to the Club Icarus.
Indeed.
Terrence, I have also heard that you have been contacted by a certain countess.
Yes, I have.
Have you spoken with her?
I have not. I spoke with someone who wishes to be acquainted with her, but I have not.
Yes, the Lady
spoken with-
Hortensia.
Yes, I've spoken with the lady, but I have not. I have not been in touch with the countess.
I understand that they delivered something to your home.
Yes, my lord.
Did you partake of it?
I did, my lord.
He kind of swirls the wine, and it looks like he's drinking, but it also kind of looks like maybe he's just sort of touching. But either way, his lips do get a bit red.
Cheshire, I'm sorry, but I think that I lost your mic.
Yep, the connection got
Yeah.
unstable for a second.
Yeah.
There we are.
Looks like I'm back, and maybe Josie is still resetting a little bit.
Right. I could hear you through Josie's mic, but yeah. Anyway.
I could hear myself too.
Something vaguely about sniffing. Looks
Yeah,
like
so-
sipping, but maybe just swishling it around
Possibly
in your
just
mouth.
kind of just touching it to his lips, or yeah. But either way, his lips do seem to have gotten a bit more red. Sorry, that made me lose my train of thought. Let me think for just a second. Okay, so
No worries.
Terrence, as you know, I have not been as forthcoming with you about your new station. I am concerned
Station or
that
condition.
That is a
Excuse
fair-
me, I'm sorry.
it is all right. As I said, I do not wish to stand on ceremony this evening. I am perturbed and ask for all of your understanding if it affects my behavior, and in return I am willing to offer the same consideration. But you are correct. It is both a condition and a station. I am aware that this is the case for at least one of the other of you, and I suspect all three. However, I can only speak directly to you, Terrence, as pertains to this condition. I see you are confused. Am I correct, Miss Wood, that you are also of a somewhat dual nature?
I'm pretty straight shooting. But what are you getting at?
You have a bit of the lupine in you, do you not?
Yeah. I run with wolves.
Yes. Mr. Hardy, I have had a harder time pinpointing exactly what might be the truth about you. Are you aware of it yourself?
All I say to him is simply, I'm not here.
Are you trying to use one of your powers on him?
Yeah, basically rightful orders. Like, pretend I'm not here. You don't recognize that I'm in this room at this point in time.
How hard do you try? Because when you try to sort of do it the way you can usually do it, you feel immense resistance. And this is the sort of thing that you can usually just do. You know, you can just kind of wave your hand, and whatever you say, just kind of like that's how people act. This time it was almost like even the act of sort of trying to wave it away was like pushing through molasses or something, or treacle, I suppose, Victorian. Um, it feels hard. Like you could
Ah,
maybe push, but it would
all
maybe
right.
stress you out to try to actually do this.
Okay, so maybe while I'm saying it, I'm not here. I realize that there's like that tension there, and just be like, I just help out sometimes. Don't worry about what I do.
He looks at you very closely and says, "I see. Hmm. As I said before, you are a bit of an enigma to me, but I recognize that you are more than you might seem. As it is, Terence."
I mean, he's a fancy lad that sleeps in a manger. How weirder can you get?
Now that really gets Dorval's attention. Is that so?
Don't reveal my secrets. That's
Interesting.
between you and me.
Interesting. She'll
I
have
throw a pocket sausage at Sandra.
pocket sausage.
I didn't know it was a secret. I thought everyone could smell it.
He regains his focus on Lord Cross, and he sets his wine down. Um, be all that as it may, Terence, I feel that I have perhaps done you a disservice by not explaining things more fully. The reason that I asked that you have your two companions here with you this evening when I came to call on you is because it has become clear to me after your triumvirate appearance at the Club Icarus that the three of you have joined together for some reason, and that you seem to be acting for some sort of common purpose. I am hopeful that perhaps this common purpose can be in alignment with your father's wishes for you, which he imparted upon me, and which I am duty-bound to uphold as best I can for reasons that will become more clear with time. That being said, I feel that the time for circumspect beating around the bush has come to an end.
I think this is the point where Reggie and myself, I would like blunder in the conversation, like, wait, hold up, you knew old Crossy's dad? Tell me about old Popsy Crossy.
Yes, Mr. Hardy. The Senior Lord Cross and I had a lengthy partnership, friendship, both professional and personal entwinement. Our interests were very much in alignment, and he had hoped to eventually bring you, Terence, into that. Unfortunately, things did not go as he or I had expected. And now things are moving much more quickly than either of us could have anticipated.
Indeed.
But I am concerned about your ongoing connection with the Countess and her particular company. They are like us, but they are not of us.
What do I need to know about the Countess?
There are some, like you and me, Terence, and to a more general extent, like all of us present in this room, there are some of us who believe that survival among mere humans requires a certain amount of tact, perhaps bordering on secrecy. There are others among us who believe that supremacy and domination are their right over humans. This I find personally abhorrent, as did your father, Terence.
I see. He said, clearly not.
Dorval can tell that you did not follow that. And
Dorval,
so
you're an old softy. Came in here like Lord Nelson. Oh, I'm liking you more.
there is a difference between recognizing mutual benefit and softness, Ms. Wood.
Well, I think softness is a lovely trait to have.
Well, then perhaps if it is one that you see in me, I can accept the compliment. It is not one I am used to receiving, so you will pardon my unfamiliarity. What I am trying to say to you, Terence, is that there are those of us who believe that the thirst and hunger that we feel is rightfully satisfied by humans, and there are some of us who believe that this is a burden for the gifts that we receive, which must be managed in other ways. I am concerned that Carmilla, the Countess, the Lady Hortensia, and others of their ilk may be attempting to seduce you into their way of thinking, which is one which holds our kind to be inherently superior to humans and entitled to their vitality.
As you say, supremacy.
Yes. They will attempt to make it seem attractive in any manner of ways. They live among humans even as they attempt to dominate over them. But your father and I had become increasingly concerned in recent years about the growing brazenness. I fear that something that you may have done seems to have drawn their attention to you. Do you have any idea what that might have been? Please understand, I will not... I consider this to be my failing. I did not mentor you properly. But I do need to know what has happened.
I'm not certain.
Have you demonstrated any of your superior skills anywhere where others might have witnessed you?
So they're just talking candidly about this in front of me and Xandra?
Yeah, they really are.
All right, cool. Zoop.
I did cross town with some alacrity.
Yes, I thought it might have been something like that. I have to assume, knowing you as I do, that this was something that you discovered somewhat in medias res. Upon attempting to take an action, you discovered that it was far easier for you than you had anticipated.
Indeed.
Mr. Hardy and Ms. Wood, I want you both to understand that I would not normally speak quite this candidly in front of anyone. Terence can assure you I had not even broached these subjects with him. But it has become apparent to me that there are threats that are imminent. And I am concerned, I will be extremely candid, not for either of you, but for my ward, Terence, to whose father I made, as I have mentioned, a vow of extreme honor and duty, which I intend to uphold in any way possible.
And I feel comfortable saying that Xandra and I are possibly some of his closest confidants at this point in time. So I feel it's only necessary for us to understand this information as well.
We're here to look
Agreed.
after Terry, too.
He kind of tilts his head Yes. Excellent. It does seem that we are in the same book, if not on the same page.
I didn't realize that Lord Cross is such a. I was going to say baby, but I don't mean that. Uh, new
Bachelor
performer.
around town?
Yeah, I kind of was raised in this life.
Yes. And Mr. Hardy, I suspect that you have at least been aware of your unusual and uncanny skills for quite some time as well, no? Perhaps perhaps you were raised in an unusual location of unknown provenance, would be my guess.
I don't see Reggie anymore. Is he still here?
Whoops, it wasn't supposed to work on Sandra.
It probably didn't, since you didn't target her.
Yeah, I figured as much because it was really like targeting or Darth Maul. What is it? Dorval.
Dorval. Darth Maul. Yep, that's his name.
Yeah, no, I'm still here, Sandra. Don't worry, baby.
Now, if you could please enlighten me as to why you were at Club Icarus.
Well, to meet Oscar Wilde, of course.
So you
I had to
know.
have my chance.
Dorval seems confused when you say that, not by the reference, but he's just kind of looking at you like,
Well,
strange.
perhaps, for being candid, you know something about this Barnabas fellow that may have been there.
So this is tied up with him, is it?
This is who we are seeking.
What do you know of Barnabas?
Very little.
He can mess with minds, make people forget, or perhaps remember differently.
He cannot, but he has gained the complicity of one who can.
Yes, I've heard of an individual. I've heard of such an individual.
An individual? That's an unusual way of referring to it. Who have you heard of, Mr. Hardy?
Why should I trust you with any information that I've found out about people?
Terrence. Might you assist me here?
I have known Lord Dorville for all of my life, and I trust Lord Dorville with it.
I've heard of someone referred to as a man in a yellow mask.
Ah. Yes. Yes. The wheezing prophet. He too is a pawn, though he does not know it. It is a sad, sad situation. There is a great deal going on here, which I wish to share with you as delicately as I can, so that we may address it with precision. Because there are great forces at work here. I am reticent and chagrined to admit even more powerful than I, and I am the most powerful person in this room. Do not have any doubt about that. I apologize. We are all working together. I don't mean to be threatening, it's force of habit. He seems to kind of drift off a little bit, and he's kind of pulling some different thoughts together. The thing that, well, then I suppose if you followed him to the Club Icarus, then you are aware of his connections to the faction leaders.
When
Um,
we arrived at the Club Icarus, we could not find him, but we could find other members or other faction leaders.
So
We
how did you find the Club Icarus if you were not... I'm very confused about what you've been doing.
Straight rat.
Oh, I see.
we received an invitation, or we acquired an invitation.
Well, yes, of course. Your powers of suggestion and persuasion, even untrained as they are currently, I'm sure were more than enough to get you past the door. The door is guarded by, well, humans, after all.
I've been
Did you
trailing
not...
Barnabas for a couple weeks now.
Have you indeed?
He's wrapped up in the Jack the Ripper murders.
And what do you know about those, Ms. Wood?
I'm a cop. I've been at the scenes.
No, this genuinely seems to surprise Lord Dorval. Oh, I didn't realize that they allowed...
I masquerade as a man.
Curious.
And at the word masquerade, Reggie breaks out into dance. Masquerade!
Dorval just kind of looks at you and goes... And he kind of nods as if a suspicion has been confirmed.
Theater kid.
Of course, this is why I was so easily able to get into with anything with Oscar Wilde. I've become quick friends with that doily cart.
Have you indeed? That might be useful. So allow me to recapitulate what I understand, and please do feel free to tie up any loose ends or fill any missing gaps in my understanding. Ms. Wood, you are a member of the constabulary who masquerades as a man in order to hold that position. You, I have to assume, were assigned this case?
I'm not a inspector, but it's my usual neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been guarding the scenes. Sometimes new people who found a new report.
I know very little about the organization of your faction. We have not historically been allies, your people and mine. Is it typical for you to be this involved in human affairs?
No, they don't like it. But you could say that I believe as you do and think that the only way forward is to make friends rather than domination or hunting them.
Indeed. So in the course of this investigation, in the course of your police work, you came across information associating Barnabas with the murders themselves.
Yeah, he picked up his scent at more than one site and found that he was staying at a very low-rent hostel for a man of his normal dress, and found him interfering in my precinct. I think he messed with some of the files regarding the investigation.
Terrence, I feel now is a good time for me to inform you. that your father was also investigating these same murders. He and I were attempting to locate an individual that we believe is intimately affiliated with these wrongdoings. Is that something that you were aware of?
No, but it does explain or help to clarify the location and the circumstances of his death.
Yes. My chief concern, since his untimely demise, of course, has also been the mysterious disappearance of his body. This, I believe, Barnabas is directly involved with. And this is something that I would like to seek your assistance. I did not realize that we had a direct contact with the London police. This might help us greatly. I would like to meet with you all again very soon. In the meantime, Terence, I must ask that you not contact the Countess de Karnstein unless she has made it
Unavoidable.
That is an excellent word, Miss Wood.
I'm
Unless
familiar
she
with
has
their
made it
ways.
unavoidable.
You know, the bloodsuckers and wolves pretend to be different, but they're not really.
That is a very keen observation, Miss Wood. I think that you and I see very much eye to eye. I believe that we are on the same page after all. Ms. Wood, if I might ask that you remain as circumspect as you can with regard to this. I am concerned that your enthusiasm may draw undue attention.
Story of my life, Belle.
There is a reason why word reached as far as my circles in a matter of days, following the appearance and the performance that you and Terence put on at the club. Reggie, you're an angel, and we're glad that you're here. It sounds as if you had a lovely evening, and I appreciate you comporting yourself appropriately for an upper-class twit event such as that.
I mean,
Terrence.
I know how to party.
These are skills which will become eminently useful very soon, I suspect. One thing that our factions do have in common is a weakness for frivolity.
Our factions, eh?
Yes. The groups of us, vampires, werewolves, and so on.
I just keep regarding him with just a little bit of.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
He just kind of keeps just impassively just kind of looking right back at you.
I'm like, come on, say it.
Right?
Out with it, you.
He turns to you, Lord Cross. Terence, I want you to know, I had hoped that we would have a smoother introduction to your new way of life than we have so far. I apologize to you again for having left you unguided and unsupported. I thought we had more time. After all, it is a weakness of our particular faction that we can sometimes think we have all the time in the world. But events still move very quickly, even for those of unusual longevity.
I see.
And as he says that, you realize that, yeah, you've known Lord Dorval all your life, and he has always looked exactly as he does in front of you right now.
Right.
If that hadn't dawned on you before, it really does now.
And, you know, as a near vampire, the dawn is not such a really comfortable thing.
So yeah, y'all have definitely sat and talked well into the night. The sun isn't exactly coming up yet, but it's the sky is starting to lighten just a little bit. And Dorval seems to be very acclimated to keeping track of that himself, because he glances at the window. He's been doing that about every half an hour for the last hour, and then a little more frequently. And this time when he glances, even though y'all probably don't notice a huge difference, he seems to. And he stands up and says, "But we shall have to continue this another time. I have other matters I need to attend to. I will be in touch soon. Please do not take any action before we have spoken again."
Very well, Lord Geoffrey. Thank you
Terrence?
for your time.
I only wish that I had realized that it was necessary sooner. My apologies to you again, Terrence. I fear that I shame your father's memory in my inconsiderateness until now, and I aim to rectify that. I will be much more present and will be taking a much more direct hand in guiding you from this point forward. He bows to Xandra. He extends a hand to Reggie. And then he sees himself out because you sent your help home for the night. So,
Indeed.
and he steps out the door. And do you see him out, Lord Cross?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Then Lord Cross sees him step out and just sort of melt into the darkness. He just kind of disappears after he steps out of your door. Xandra and Reggie, if you don't follow him out into the hallway, you don't see that part. But yeah, he just...
Bat!
Right.
Keep an eye on Lord Cross just in case, but I don't follow them all the way out.
All right. And that brings us to 2 hours, my babies.
I suppose it does.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. Thank you to all lovely viewers in the future. Thank you to my players. This has been another playtest episode of Abyssal London.
Bye, Laura.
Take care, everybody.
Yeah, fair.
Bye!
Thanks for watching.